Hello, I'm Kelly with fitnessblender.com, and today I have a relaxing stretch workout for you. So we're going to be doing 45 seconds active with 15 seconds rest. Each of these stretches is dynamic with gentle, fluid motions. It should feel great, whether you are just looking for a really chill routine to relax to, or you're looking to treat sore muscles to a nice stretch. This should feel good either way. You won't need any equipment at all for this. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're gonna start off standing just to introduce a little bit of light movement so that we're not stretching on cold muscles. So we're gonna start off with a simple torso twist, letting our hands hang very loosely by our sides, kind of like we're a bored little kid, just kind of letting, with each gentle turn, your wrists bang against your sides or your back or your bum. And then as we get a little further into this interval, each one is 45 seconds, we'll be holding this position for just a second on each side. So all of these, move at your own pace, adjust for your own range of motion, listen to your body. Here we'll hold for just a second, and when you go to the opposite side, hold for just a second, and we'll finish out the interval just holding in each spot for just a second. So we have 15-second rest intervals to get it set up for the next exercise. So if there's an exercise you're enjoying, feel free to let it bleed over into the next. But next up, we're going to be doing an overhead stretch plus an arm sweep. So taking a nice deep breath in as you take those arms overhead. Once you're here, stretch just a little bit and exhale as you fold towards the ground. Once you're here, start your inhale at the floor. In through your nose. And hold it. Exhale as you head towards the floor. Really exaggerate both inhale and exhale. All right, next up, we're going to be doing a pivot step plus a rainbow reach with those arms. So nice and slow, opening up through the hips, and while we do, opening up and over the head for a nice upper body stretch. So stepping, just alternating from side to side, nice and wide. You can, like I said, do this at whatever pace you like. Again, work in some mindful breathing. So it feels good to, right here, take a nice breath in. Enjoy that stretch, and out through the mouth as you return to center. In through the nose. Just keep that going. Try to send your breath to your belly so you're expanding, so really expand through that lower stomach. All right, next up, we're gonna do a super slow walk down, at least walk down to a downward dog initially, and then enjoy some foot pedaling. So you can start right now with sort of that descent towards the mat. You can bend your knees if you need to, make it work for you, but we're gonna end up with straight legs once our arms are out here, and lifting up through here like we're being pulled up through a string. Try to get your heels on the ground. You can push your head through your arms right here to get a nice stretch through the upper body as well. Otherwise, just focus on pedaling those feet. If any of these intervals at any time feel uncomfortable, I encourage you to either do your own thing entirely through the rest of that interval, or just return to a stretch that served you better as you were making your way through. So just make it work for you. Under 10 seconds left, and then we're going to slowly lower ourselves to the mat. And the next group of exercises we're going to be focusing on are going to have us on all fours. So first up, we're going to do a thread the needle, active thread the needle, where in between we're going to be pushing back into child's pose. So right here, just turn and twist, feel that great stretch through that upper body, through that torso, come back up. Once you're here, press back into child's pose. So you get a nice stretch through both of those arms and your upper back. Once you're ready, come back up. And thread the needle through the opposite side. Come back to center and that child's pose in between. All right, next up, we're going to be doing torso rotations plus spinal flexion. So another combination move here. So again, on all fours, we're keeping our chest pointed down, opening up through one side as much as we can. Try to get that arm straight if you can. Come back again to center and flex through the spine. So you're doing the cat part of cat-cow. Then return to center and repeat that extension on the opposite side of the body. Seconds left. All right, so next up we're going to be doing spinal circles, and in between a circle in each direction, we're going to be doing a bird dog. So again, weight in all fours, so you're going to be taking through the torso, dropping down as much as you can, and then arching up. Once you've done a full circle, go in the opposite direction. Really exaggerate. Once we're back here at neutral, come up for a bird dog on each side of the body. And then go back to those circles. Really try to scoop, don't hold your breath. And back up for that bird dog. All right, next up, we're doing a torso lean, an IT stretch, so you should feel this all down the side of your body as well as the side of your lower body. But staying right here, you're going to take one leg, kick it straight out back behind your body, and then push it so that you're back and across that other side. Then lean back and look at that foot. Just give it a good look. Then put it back and repeat on the opposite side. Extend, cross over, and then deepen that stretch by looking back at that foot. Just alternate back and forth, treating yourself to those deep belly breaths the entire time. Alright, so our next segment is going to have us sitting. I've kind of broken these apart depending on our body position to help minimize our transition time. But we're going to start off, not sitting entirely, so you're going to start off with an Adductor Rock. So hands, again, on all fours really, with one foot kicked out, we're leaning back. So this hip is staying in alignment with one leg stretched out. So as you, especially as you sink back, you should feel a nice stretch through this inside thigh. I like to inhale as I'm sinking back and then exhale as I come back forward. So again, especially pay attention to the leg that is underneath your body, the supporting leg here. You want your hips to stay in alignment, that healthy hip motion. So you're not kind of bouncing back and forth. Just stay in track with the line of that supporting leg. Keep your shoulders down and away from your neck. All right, so same thing on the opposite side. So get set up when you're ready. Nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Here we go. a slight bend in your elbows, don't lock them out. Only go as far as you can control, as far as stays in good alignment and causes you no pain on either side of the body there. All right, now we're moving to our seated exercises. So first off, we're going to start with a mermaid. So legs kind of folded in either direction here, and we're going to be leaning back and forth. We're going to be leaning back and forth and then combining it with a forward lean. So standing up nice and tall here, we're leaning over one side, should feel great. And then over the opposite side, should also feel great. And then we're going to treat ourselves to a brief little stretch right here in the middle. And then come back up and repeat that sequence. So coming up through the arms, leaning into that torso stretch. You can support yourself on the side here if you like. Same thing on the opposite side. And center stretch. Again, feel free to do this at your own pace. You can be quick about this if you want to fit in more reps. It's all in how long you want to hold, so which is a very personal thing, depending on what your needs are like today. So now we're going to switch the position of those legs. So exact opposite of what we just had, right? One leg out behind us and bent, the other bent in front. So just like before, me leaning left and right and down the center. Or right and left and down the center, that is up to you. So right here, we're feeling it through our sides, through our upper body, a little bit through those legs, depending on which way we're leaning. And then when we lean forward, you get a nice stretch a little bit through the lower back, and then you're also going to feel that stretch change through your legs, through the front of this one and the back of the one that's in front of you. All right, next up, we're going to do a Pilates Saw. So kicking our legs nice and wide. This is kind of a half work, half stretch exercise that always feels really good. So the key is, again, listening to your body, respecting your own ranges of motion and where you're at exactly today. So arms straight out from those shoulder joints, and you're rotating to just kind of briefly reach towards, whether you can reach it or not is not important, but reaching towards the outside of that foot. Inhale as you return to center, and exhale as you lean towards that toe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. All right, so next up, we are going to stay right in the middle here and just enjoy a nice wide center stretch. So when you're ready, get set up for that. And I like to make this an active stretch as well. So instead of you can just find a place that you feel comfortable, but I encourage you to lean from side to side, just kind of explore within this stretch. What feels good? Do you find any stiff spots, any places that feel particularly nice? And as you go through this stretch and all of the others, pay attention to see if your movement is unlocking additional range of motion. As you get warm and as your muscles are getting accustomed to that range of motion, you can usually get a little extra movement out of yourself. So just leaning a little more into that stretch. All right, so next up, we're going to leave one leg out, fold the other in, and we're actually going to be alternating back and forth, which leg is out and in this time. But we're going to be leaning first towards that foot for one lean, and then the second lean, and then we'll do our third one, and at that point, we're going to kick out opposite legs and lean down towards that other foot. So we're just going back and forth, 3 leans in each position, and then we switch. Pay attention as you make your way through, just kind of looking out for differences between sides. It's not bad. It's not the end of the world, or it doesn't mean you're broken, but it can be something to work on. You know, whether it's strength or flexibility, the differences between sides, it is nice to kind of try to get them as symmetrical as possible. So just either doing a little bit of extra stretching sometimes on that more stiff side, or matching it with the side that is more flexible. All right, next up we're going to be doing pretzel leg drops. So with your feet right in front of yourself on the ground here, we're going to be folding from one position to the other. So trying not to move the position of where you're sitting or your feet. You're just rocking back and forth. Try to sit up straight. These are all different parts of range of motion. I mean, you might find that this just looks like this right now, and that would be totally fine. You might find your body trying to lean back. Try to stay upright as much as you can. Five seconds left. All right, and this next one, we're gonna hold the same position for a little bit longer, and each time we're in this position, we're gonna rotate into each direction, just briefly, just enjoying a nice stretch for just a second before we switch to the opposite side. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Make sure you're not pushing into anything. Just gently leaning. Anytime you reach the end range of motion of a stretch, you never force it, never bounce. Just kind of gently lean in, and it should still feel good. Even a little discomfort is okay, but not pain. All right, so next up, we have a seated chest stretch. So staying right here, you can kick your legs out or bend them up. We're going to be putting your hands behind you and then scooting as far down as you need to, or pressing your chest up in order to get a nice stretch through the chest here and that shoulder joint. Don't be afraid to adjust within the stretch if something else starts to feel uncomfortable or something seems like it might feel better. Never hesitate to make that adjustment. Keep your shoulders down and away from your ears. All right, next up, we're gonna do a couple side lying stretches. So this first one, we're gonna get set up as if we were going to do a side lying stretch, or a side lying raise rather. So bend one leg so you give yourself that bottom leg so you get a little more room here. Otherwise, arms and legs in opposite direction, and just let them do kind of a dead hang here. You can do, just like with a full body stretch, reach away from yourself and then relax. And also once you're here, you can move that arm forward and the leg back. See how that changes the stretch. You can take the arm back. You can go the opposite direction for a nice chest stretch. Should feel really good. When you're here, you can roll your ankles, roll your wrists, point and flex your toe so you get a little calf stretch. Just gotta make it your own. It's a nice little freestyle side lying stretch. All right, so next up we're gonna do just a nice quad stretch lying here. Stretch to the front of our thighs. So when you're ready, grab your toes and hold it up as close as you can without compressing that knee. And just treat yourself to some nice deep breaths here. Hold that leg up. If you want to break that stretch up and keep the kind of active nature of the rest of it, or if that static stretch is feeling a little long in this interval. You can always take a break and shake it out, just like you can with HIIT, just like you can with strength training. You can do the same thing in a stretching workout. So here we're going to do that same kind of freestyle side lying stretch. So bend that one leg so the other leg has more room to hang there. And same thing here. So you can do whatever you want here, but do try to replicate what you did to the other side. So for me, that was a little bit of full body stretching, expanding each direction, and then taking a second to tilt the body forward, using my limbs as counterbalance here, basically, so I don't fall over. If one limb goes one way and the other one goes the opposite, and it feels great in either position. Take a second to point and flex those toes, do some ankle circles, some nice cracks out of that. And when you're ready, let it relax, and we'll go back to that calf stretch, or sorry, the hamstring stretch rather. All right, so here we go, last side lying stretch. Do that quad, the front of your thighs. And this is a great place to treat ourselves to some more belly breath, right? So in through the nose, nice and slow and deep, send that breath to the belly. And when your lungs are full, exhale through your mouth. Nice, slow, long exhale. Basically telling your nervous system, we are calm, there's no danger here, we're safe, and we help our body go into rest and digest, where we heal better. And so many important processes happen that if we stay in fight or flight, like it's so easy to do because of our daily lives, breathing can help, and it's something we can do anywhere, so I love it. All right, so next up, we're gonna be on our backs. Supine torso twist plus thoracic rotation. So lying here, we're gonna have our legs kicked off to one side, arms spread wide, and our thoracic rotation is going to be just rocking over to one side and then opening back up. Once we're there, rotate so those legs are kicked the other direction and fold over again to that opposite side. Take your time. So yeah, breathing is something we do literally thousands of times a day. We barely think about it, but the way we breathe matters, and it can be the difference between us kind of quietly sending messages to our body whether or not we need to stay hyper aware or whether it's okay to relax. All right, next up, we're gonna take our legs straight up at that hip joint, and kind of have another kind of freestyle stretch here. So legs up in the air, I have dog hair everywhere. And then once we're here, just gonna be pointing and flexing your toes on your own time. So however you like, you can hold that stretch, you can pull your toes back at yourself to kind of really deepen it. You can point them for a quick break and come back. You can kind of pedal those feet a little bit, kind of focus on one hamstring at a time. But it's up to you. You can make it yours, but this is a nice chance for some of the blood in our feet to return up towards our heart and our belly, and also kind of an unweighted way to get a nice calf stretch in and hamstring stretch. You can pull those legs gently up towards you to deepen that stretch through the hamstrings a little bit, through the backs of the thighs. All right, so next up, we are going to do an imprint. So super easy, super basic, super important exercise. So it helps to put your fingers on your hip bones and your ribs, but we're gonna be exhaling to bring them closer together. And when you inhale, you're arching up and away from that mat. Hip bones and rib bones get further away from one another. Fill your belly and exhale as you flatten. Flatten that low back against the mat. Inhale back up. Just keep that pattern going at your own pace. Alright, next up we're going to do a knee hug back rub. So pulling both of those knees in, just hugging and rolling back and forth so you get a nice little massage in that lower back, and kind of lower the legs to change where the most weight is as you get that back massage. Kind of do some circles in here, those legs, those knees. All right, next up, I'm going to be doing a full body stretch and leg pull combination. So you can start off with a full body stretch, taking arms and legs in opposite direction. And when you're ready, keep one leg extended and pull the other one up. You can hold this for as long as you like or make it as quick as you like. I'm going to kind of go somewhere in between and just enjoy a couple second stretch in each position. Nice breathing pattern is to inhale as you go into that full body stretch, and exhale as you bring one leg up. All right, so that is already our stretching workout. So I hope that you have enjoyed this. I hope it treated you well. I'd love to know what you thought, or if you'd like to see anything else like it, or if there's anything we could do to tweak it to make it even better for you. Otherwise, thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for working out with me. Good job. This workout is complete. You hear Loki snoring?
It's not showing up on the audio meters.
Hello, I'm Kelly with fitnessblender.com, and today I have
Sorry.
a husband with allergies.
Trying to hold his sneeze back for like the first like.
Well, I'm Kelly with fitnessblender.com, and today I have an active stretch flow routine for you. What am I going to call this actually exactly? Stretches that are dynamic with gentle, fluid motions. We're going to be focusing mostly on our hips, our lower body, our backs, our core, and a little bit through the...
So a lot of stuff. We're going to be focusing on a lot of stuff.
First one was good enough.
Don't blame. Just...
All right, I've grouped these into groups. Imagine that.